G'day, ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. It is currently 2019, and for the first video of 2019, I thought we might kick it off with a BF109. Yes, that's right, we're having a look at the K-4. Now, the K-4, for me, personally, is not terribly fun. I'm not going to lie, I don't like the K-4. But this video pretty much demonstrates reasonably well why the K-4 is a decent plane. Now, I know there are people that can take this thing and go nuts with it, but I'm not one of those people. I, for some reason, have trouble making the K-4 work. Whether that's because it doesn't turn as well, or it doesn't turn well at low speed as I would like it to, or whether I'm just not used to it. For example, vehicles like the Leopard 1, you actually need to play a fair few matches to get used to them. And with some German vehicles especially, it takes a little while to sort of fall into that habit, that little pattern, where you play the vehicle a certain way. And for some reason, the BF109 K-4 is one of those vehicles that I've had a lot of trouble trying to get to work. Now, that doesn't mean that the vehicle's bad. I have been told that some people, actually many people, believe that it should be 5.7. I'm not going to comment on that really, because to be honest, I have no idea. I haven't even spaded mine. But this plane is, from what I can tell and from what I've played of it, I think I've played like 50 or 60 games in it, that it is more of a genuine, purebred boom and zoom plane rather than an energy fighter as such. Now, one of the questions that you will always come across with BF109s is the gun pod question. As you can see, I've equipped gun pods, and I think for the K4 and for the G6, which are to me the heavier 109s, you take extra armament because you're not going to get any more turn rate out of them, but you will get extra firepower, and you will need that firepower to make every shot count. Now, planes like the G6 and planes like the K4 both have really good climb rates compared to their matchmaking. So you can actually afford to lose a little bit of performance. You can also take pods with the G2 Tropical or the F4, but honestly, you get so much performance out of the G2 and out of the F4 that it's not, in my opinion, worth taking it. That, and the F4 only gets 15mm pods, which means you can't pack stealth belts. And you know me, I absolutely love stealth. But we're not going to be running stealth today, we're going to be running the default belts, because I actually haven't unlocked the offensive 20mm belts yet. Has this potentially hampered my experience with the BF109 K4? Yes, it's almost certain. The K4 is a decent plane, but it's probably just one of those planes that I don't get used to. I know a lot of people in my G55S video were saying, well, the G55 has certain weak spots and it's not that great. But in the video I explained, to me personally, the plane just fits my playstyle. And the K4 is perhaps one of the polar opposites of that, where it absolutely doesn't fit my playstyle. You have to be too pure and too patient, which is something that I'm just, quite frankly, not. I'm not a patient person, especially when it comes to games. I like to get in some action, make some kills. Even if I die, I have to suck it up, I guess. But unfortunately, with the K4, you have to play quite strategically and almost passively, which I don't really like. So I am actually playing the K4 in this case aggressively. Now, we do get an air start, and this thing does perform exceedingly well at high altitudes. I've also taken 30 minutes of fuel, just in case I need to be a little bit patient, climb up a little bit, side climb. I don't normally take any more than 20 minutes of fuel unless I'm running jets with afterburners, but in this case, this is probably the rare opportunity for me to take out more than 20 minutes of fuel. Because matches don't normally last longer than 20 minutes, but you never know with a plane like the K4. On top of that, it also balances out the plane a little bit. So what do you mean by that? Now, if you look at the X-ray view of the BF109 K-4, you'll notice that the fuel tank sits behind the pilot, and generally in aircraft, the center of gravity of an aircraft, as in if you were to hang it by a string, from that point, it is normally the pilot. And for planes with two pilots, it tends to be the one at the back that is this. Was it the one at the front? I can't remember. Someone tell me in the comments. I think it's different for each plane. But essentially, you put a little bit more weight on the back of the plane, and as a result, you can actually get a little bit more turning. If I've read that correctly. But essentially, long story short, a little bit more fuel in the rear of the fuselage isn't a bad thing. Especially if it means a little bit more endurance. And the K-4 is a monster if it's given enough time to endure 20 minutes of battle. As you can see there, gun pod's working well on that Spitfire. Nice sneaky little head-on. I thought that was kind of neat. But we're looking for bigger prey here. There was a big clusterfuck of enemies that was slightly below me. And this is where the K-4 actually really, really shines, in a case where it's got genuine energy advantage. So here I am at something like 6,000 meters, just cruising around, looking for targets, and there we go. MB5, P51, and Lancaster. Now, the Lancaster will eventually get taken out by the TAR 152, but there's the MB5 and the P51. And you know what? There'll be some pretty interesting targets. Not going to lie, the MB5 is apparently really good at 8,000 meters. It just doesn't have the climb rate to get to 8,000 meters. You will almost never see them above 5,000 meters because the maps are too small for that. And small maps in this case are a good thing, but I'll leave that for another video. But in short, in my opinion, the MB5 needs a bigger air spawn. And that will be problem solved. Now, the P51 is an interesting plane as well. It's the, I believe, D10, the premium one. So it is actually pretty decent, so I have to be careful. I can't just go in and turn fight. Even though this P47N here, who's appeared out of the clouds, has decided to go for a little stroll in the clouds, and has come across my 20mm, which set him on fire. And yeah, that's the magic of default belts. They're not actually that bad on MG151s. And I find MG151s to be some of the best guns in the game. Now, back to the match, and the MB5 is being absolutely left in the dust by the K4. I hit 850 kilometers per hour, and I've just gone into a vertical, pushing above those clouds and getting away from him with that much ease. It was pretty damn easy to get away from that MB5. And I know that MB5s tend to lose a lot of speed in turns, and they tend to be very bad at low-speed maneuvers because they have really, really short, stubby wings that don't produce a lot of lift. And so the MB5 to be effective has to be at high speed. So I know if I can get it to low speed, I can kill it. But I also know I need to get it out of those clouds. And one thing I don't like doing is fighting in clouds. So I'm heading over to that TAR 152 to see if I can pick off the P51, and hopefully that will bait the MB5 towards us, and we can both finish him off as a team. Now, I'm also playing Spot the Dot. I'm looking in the clouds, I'm looking around the clouds to see if I can find the MB5, just in case he's gone out of the clouds, because I need to keep tabs on all the enemies left in the area. Now, we're down to 2 or 3 enemies, and we've probably got this match in the bag, but I don't want to throw anything away, and there it is. There's that little dot, the MB5. I point my mouse straight towards it, because I know that as soon as I am spotted by that MB5, he's going to make some evasive maneuvers, kill some altitude, and I won't be able to take him out. So I'm diving, I'm losing a little bit of energy, risking the P51 coming in, but this thing picks up an insane amount of speed. I didn't actually realize how much speed this thing picks up. And with a couple more upgrades still left on the K4, it will do even better. So I'm actually kind of interested again in the K4. But here goes the MB5 doing some evasive maneuvers, and I potato a little bit. Now I'm looking for that P51, and he is right behind me. He's spotted me for some reason, and I didn't spot him. But using that energy from the dive, I put it almost all back into altitude, climbing up, throwing that weapon. Doesn't matter if the engine redlines, it's fine. I have that altitude advantage, and I also have the speed advantage. And there you can see I am well above that P51, and he's just continuing in a straight line because he can't follow me. And he's already bled some energy in a couple of turns, whilst I have an absolute metric arse ton of energy. Now, he goes into a little right-hand turn, which is a bit foolish. He should have done some more aggressive maneuvers. And there he goes with some slightly more aggressive maneuvers, stops it for a second, and just enough to get the pilot. Now, I don't have too much ammo left, but that's okay because I have MG151s, which I sort of know how to aim, and there comes that MB5 from out of nowhere. I pull into him and then pull out at the last minute so that I can feint a commit to a rolling scissors. And that'll mean that the MB5 will go up, lose energy in a turn, and there he is. He's stalling out in front of me. He's realized his mistake, tried to get that little kill on the 152, but it's a little bit too late for him. He's already bled a lot of energy, and I'm just taking my time, putting a couple of shells, getting a couple of sparks. I get a nice crit, and I think I should have left him there because his elevator was probably out. But, I go for the finish. I don't want to take any chances, and that's game. The K-4, you know what? I may not like it too much, but it's not bad. It's certainly not a bad plane. It's definitely it's a good amount of fun, and honestly, it's nice. May not be to my playstyle, and I may have to play a few more matches to sort of get used to it, but overall, I like it. It's not a bad 109, and although for me the BF109 G2 reigns supreme for 109s, the K4 comes in at a close third, fourth, something like that. But yeah, not bad result. 4 kills and finish the festive quest, and I get the German decal of all things. What a lovely coincidence. But yeah, there we go, ladies and gents. The BF109 K-4. Welcome to 2019. Take care, guys, and I'll catch you next time.